Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss.
Oh, hell no.
Tell me about the old man. What's he really like?
Just like
Can't be as nice as the guy I just met.
Oh no, he
Got to be a
is.
dark, sinister side to Will Smith. We just
You
haven't
know
found
what?
yet.
It's not. It's not.
What made-
That's
what-
what's crazy. It's not.
What made you fall in love with him?
I would say Will came at a time in my life where he saw beauty in me that I didn't see in myself at the time. And, he saw a diamond in the rough and he kind of picked me up and blew off all the dust and said, I'm telling you, I'm going to make you shine, girl.
Well, you certainly did, looking at that rock.
Right,
my God.
exactly. And I was going through a really rough time. And, he created a safe space for me to get healthy and to grow and to find myself.
And
that's
how do
what
you
he did
keep
for
things
me.
so... I mean, I keep reading that the pair of you have this sort of fantastic sex life after 14 years of marriage.
You have to. And I know people get so upset about it, but for me...
I don't get it. I get excited by
Yeah,
it. And what I read was that wherever you go, the pair of you try and make love. Is this true?
I mean, we've made love in some interesting places.
I mean, should I be concerned about my green room?
You
right now?
should be. You should be, But the thing about it is that I feel like you have to keep spontaneity. You have to keep your partner on their toes, because once, it starts getting into a routine, it's like, it gets very boring. He's a workaholic.
Is that a fault?
It can be at times, but it's not like a crushing fault. But you said one thing. I gave you one.
Do you ever have arguments? Do you ever scream at each
Oh,
other?
no, we don't scream at each other.
Oh, do you have rules?
We cut that in the beginning because we're both very passionate people. So we knew we wouldn't survive screaming at each other. So, but yeah, we have our arguments and we have our disagreements and we have our debates and we have our, we have our problems. I mean, it's not perfect in the sense that, we don't have any issues. It's not an easy marriage.
What is the secret?
The
to
secret
to a
is
successful Hollywood marriage with all the particular pressures that fly in.
friendship. Friendship. You have to be friends. And in that have a certain understanding of what is needed. I think that with marriages, people have to understand that you have to look at your marriage and understand what is needed in your marriage. Not what people think your marriage should be, not what people want your marriage to be. But I have to look at my husband and I have to look at him and look at what he needs as an individual. He has to look at me and see what I need. And then we have to look at the union and see what the union needs. And we have to make decisions based on that.
Hi guys, it's Yanni and I'm back with another video. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about this interview that took place on the Red Table Talk featuring Jada and Will Smith. So I came across this Instagram post and it reads, if Will Smith cheated on his black wife of 20 years with his daughter Willow's young friend who is mentally challenged because he said he wanted to feel good, what kind of sick, twisted, immoral predator would he be? So this is something that I wanted to focus on. This interview touched me personally because I've been on the receiving end of the predatory behavior Jada demonstrated with August Alsina in their so-called entanglement. And the issue that I had with this interview was Jada never did publicly apologize to August Alsina. A predator is someone who typically takes advantage of a person who is in a vulnerable state. That could be mentally, emotionally, and physically. And that is what Jada did to August Alsina. Now, a lot of times we see this type of behavior mostly in men because we do live in a misogynistic society that allows space for men to have that privilege. So with that being said, it's very interesting to see the shoe on the other foot. And it's also very interesting that she never publicly apologized to August Alsina for what she did.
4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was about 4 years ago. Started a friendship with August. And we actually became really, really good friends. And it all started with him just needing some help. You know, me wanting to help his health, his mental state.
Because for me, that was the thing when Aug first came around, he was really sick.
He was really sick, yeah.
And the outpouring for him from our family was initially about his health.
Yeah. And I mean, we found all those different resources, you know, to help pull him through. And from there, you know, you and I were going through a very difficult time.
Yeah.
And we decided...
I was done with your ass.
Yeah, you kicked me to the curb.
I was done with you.
Yeah.
I think you need to say clearly what happened.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened?
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship, absolutely. I was in a lot of pain, and I was very broken. Now, in the process of that relationship, I definitely realized that you can't find happiness outside of yourself.
You know, you, during that time, launched into an interaction with August. What do you feel like you were looking for?
I just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt good.
I personally feel like this entire interview was disingenuous on all fronts. And I'm going to start with Will Smith. With his body language, you can tell he did not want to do this interview. You can tell he was embarrassed to even be on this platform doing an interview with this subject. And then also when you look at Jada, she doesn't want to do this interview. She looks uncomfortable. And, you know, my whole thing is this. These are two individuals that have made it very known that they are not romantically involved with each other anymore and that they refer to themselves as lifelong partners. So I just felt like if this sit down wasn't going to be 100% honest and raw and authentic, why sit down and do it at all? And it's because they were sitting down to do this interview to save face for each of their brands that they have. Jada with the Red Table Talk, and then you have Will with all of his endeavors and businesses that he has going on for himself. And so I just felt like the interview really wasn't needed. I mean, the rumors of them having an open marriage has been floating around for years. Why all of a sudden do you feel the need to address this one particular rumor? And it's because of the nature of these accusations that August Alsina was a very young boy at the time, and he was taken advantage of by an older woman. And he was in a place of vulnerability. He was battling with drug addiction, and his family really wasn't there for him in his time of need. So he didn't have anyone in his corner to support him. And so the Smiths took on that role. And when it comes to this interview, they didn't acknowledge the damage that they may have caused to August Alsina in the process of them helping heal him to better health mentally, physically, and emotionally. They never acknowledged that. And that's why when it comes to this interview, I felt like it was disingenuous because they never really did acknowledge the hurt or the pain that they may have caused with their marital issues. And of course, yes, Jada was the one that stepped out of their marriage, but Will Smith is not innocent either. You know, this is a man that has been linked to different women and has been rumored to be linked to different women in a romantic sense or in a sexual sense. So it's just interesting how they never acknowledge the third party and the harm that they may have caused. And for that reason alone, I felt like the interview was disingenuous, because when you look back at August Alsina's interview, he kept mentioning the Smith family. He kept mentioning Will and Jada. So I felt like they played a huge part in why he feels the way that he feels and why he felt like he was damaged or broken after dealing with Jada and after Jada went back to Will after they ended up working things out.
I love those people, literally, like my family. I don't have a bad thing to say about them. They are beautiful people. You know, when something starts affecting my life, and not only affecting my life, but affecting my wellness and my well-being, and also starts to block my heart space is blocked. I don't really have a choice but to express my truth. I actually sat down with Will and had a conversation due to the transformation from their marriage to life partnership that they've spoken on several times, and it, you know, not involving romanticism. Mm-hmm. He gave me his blessing, and I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life, you know, and I truly and really, really deeply loved and have a ton of love for her. I devoted myself to it. I gave my full self to it. So much so to the point that I can die right now and be okay with knowing that I truly gave myself to somebody.
Right, you did the right thing.
And I really loved a person. I experienced that. I know what that feels like. And some people never get that in this lifetime. So I know that I'm completely blessed. And this conversation is difficult because there's so much that it would be hard for people to understand. But once it starts to affect me in my livelihood, I have to speak up about my truth and stand on my 10 with anything that may come along with it.
And it was really a joy to just help heal somebody.
Yeah.
I actually don't look at it as a transgression at all. Through that particular journey, I learned so much about myself and was able to really confront a lot of emotional immaturity, emotional insecurity, and I was really able to do some really deep healing. You know, and as I came through and started to realize certain things about you and I, he decided to break all communication with me, which was totally understandable.
Right.
And I let that be and hadn't talked to him since.
Right.
But, you know, I will definitely say it's just part of it.
Yeah.
You know, if you expect to be with somebody for a lifetime.
25 years and counting.
We ride together,
We die together.
Bad marriage for life.
Another interesting part about this interview is that they never acknowledged how they could have possibly caused August Alsina to relapse with his drug addiction. And Jada, is very interesting that she can get on the Red Table Talk and jokingly laugh and really downplay the relationship that she had with August Alsina, but her mom struggled with drug addiction for 20 years. So you know the different battles that come with being an ex-drug addict and how you can simply relapse from emotional trauma. So I think it's very interesting how the Smiths were able to come on and jokingly laugh and be highly casual about this entire situation and not really take it seriously and really take into consideration of the person that they hurt in the midst of their marital issues. Another point that I want to make is that Jada has always been open about her addictions that she battled with when she was younger. Now, she has never really put an age on these different addictions that she has battled with throughout her lifetime. But I do feel like those same addictions may have came back up during her midlife crisis, which is why she took on a sexual relationship with August Alsina. She has been very open and vocal about these addictions on the Red Table Talk. So let's go ahead and take a look.
My first sexual experience was amazing. I wouldn't say amazing like, oh, you know, but like I remember Gammy saying to me, oh, I wish I could be there to hold your hand. I don't think I used toys with a partner, but I did use toys a lot alone.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I haven't.
Well, you're 21?
Yeah.
When did I start
Maybe I need to go get one.
No, but I think by your age, I gave myself multiples first. Multiple orgasms. Yep, I did. I was really into it at one point, just because I was in an exploration state and I was abstaining from men.
Oh, feel.
Yeah. And I actually think I went through kind of an addiction too with it.
Ooh, I'm so happy for you.
In regards to what?
In regard to your sexuality, because you've always been pretty free, I think.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have that.
Have you ever had an addiction? Yes, I've had several. My sort of addictions jump. They jump around. When I was young, I definitely think I had a sex addiction of some kind. Yes, that everything could be fixed by sex.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I was using maybe addiction a little lightly. And maybe I will say now that I had an unhealthy relationship to porn at one point in my life where I was trying to practice abstinence.
Do you think that fixation on porn came from an emotional?
It did. You know, it was actually like feeling like an emptiness. At least you think it is.
Exactly.
So I know a lot of you guys are wondering, how did August Alsina meet the Smiths? Well, back in 2015, him and Jaden became really, really good friends, and a lot of people on the blogs were referring to their newfound friendship as a bromance because they literally were doing everything together. They were pictured at music festivals and just industry parties, and it was always just the two of them hanging out. And this is something that Jada failed to mention during her interview, which is another reason why I felt like the interview was disingenuous and it was all for self. And another thing that I want to point out is a lot of people don't want to consider Jada in this phase of her life as a predator, but in reality she was. Just because August Alsina was 22 years old doesn't mean that she didn't take advantage of this man who was battling with a lot in his life, like mental health illness, and then he was also battling with drug addiction. So no one is calling Jada a pedophile, but she definitely displayed predatory behavior towards a young man that was just looking for love, and he was really, really looking for a family because he never really had a family growing up. And so Jada took him on as a project. Also, another thing that I want to point out is the timeline that was referenced in this Red Table Talk sit down interview. Jada mentioned that this affair took place 4.5 years ago. But when you look back on the Red Table Talk Facebook, their platform, you will see that the video where she and August Alsina were doing a video together, that was July of 2018. And he looks in really, really good spirit. He looks like he is healthy. He looks like he's really taking good care of himself. And so I think even then they were still engaging with each other. I'm not sure in what way. It could have been just socially. It could have been physically as well, but we don't really know. And I think that, you know, Jada getting on the Red Table Talk and not being 100% honest with their relationship, you know, it's misleading again, which comes across as disingenuous. Let this be a lesson for the Black community that we need to protect our sons just as much as we try to protect our daughters when it comes to situations like this. I know a lot of times the girls get most of the focus, you know, like girls can't spend the night, but the boys can spend the night over a friend's house. And I just feel like the same energy needs to be had when it comes to either child, whether it's a girl or a boy, because you just never know these days. And yes, August was well over the age of 18, but he was 22 and he was in a very vulnerable place. He wasn't healthy mentally, and Jada simply took advantage of him. And now, you know, he's at risk for relapsing. Like, this is a real thing. He could easily relapse any day now with all that's going on with him emotionally, and then with social media can't be that healthy right now. And that is something that not a lot of people are even thinking about. With the conclusion of this sit down interview with the Smiths, this is what I got. This is my conclusion, is that Jada was at home bored being a housewife, and she took on the project of August Alsina. And it's known that Will Smith is a workaholic, so she was in the house alone, going through a midlife crisis, and she reached out to August Alsina to take him on as a project. And in the process, she ended up doing more harm than good, because she used him to heal herself, and she literally sucked the life out of him. When you look at the interview that was done with August Alsina with the Red Table Talk, that was posted July of 2018. And then when you look at the interview with August Alsina and Angela Yee, once again, he's back to being in a very low spirit. I mean, he doesn't look healthy. He doesn't look all that happy at all. You can tell that he's going through it emotionally. So Jada, to me, is just dead wrong. I do believe that we all make our mistakes, and that we all go through our different trials and tribulations through life. But she does come across narcissistic to me, because she doesn't see how she did not heal him completely, and that in reality she broke him and she left him broken. She did not leave him healed. And that's the issue that I had with the interview. It was almost like they were in delusion about what they had done to August Alsina. So that's all that I have regarding this video. I would love your thoughts and opinions. Please comment them down below. Do you think I'm reaching with my opinion, or do you agree? Do you not agree? Comment down below. I would love your thoughts. And until next time, this is Real with Yanni.